In Orange County, there are over 3,000 registered sex offenders. Nearly 2,000 of these individuals are labeled as high risk. I don't tell you this to frighten you, but you should know that law enforcement cannot monitor these predators 24/7. We suggest that you team up with OC crime catchers. Get informed. Keep your eyes peeled so that you can protect yourself and your children. North County, South County, high rent, low rent. My neighborhood, your neighborhood. The 3,000 plus registered sex offenders who live in Orange County have convictions for crimes ranging from possession of child pornography to sodomy and rape. For those who have been victimized, the reality that violent child molesters ever get released from prison is an outrage.
Can I say I wish they would be castrated? Like, is that okay to say that? I mean, it's harsh, but I don't think they should ever be let out and near any children ever again. It hurts so many people.
Megan's Law allows law enforcement to warn the public about particularly violent predators. That's what the Orange County District Attorney's Office did last November before the planned release of Lawrence Joseph Brown. Fortunately, the two-time child rapist was rearrested less than an hour after his release from Chino State Prison, so he never returned to the streets of the OC. This type of public warning is the exception, not the rule. At the end of their sentences, most sex offenders make a quiet return to Orange County, where some end up in low-cost motels, nice apartments, or even fancy homes in upscale neighborhoods. Other sex offenders become homeless. The Megan's Law website is a computerized database that can be used to check the location of registered sex offenders by county, city, or zip code. Anaheim has the most registrants of any Orange County city, with more than 300 high-risk offenders, while the city of Santa Ana has more than 200. More than 500 sex offenders live in South County cities patrolled by the Orange County Sheriff's Department. In Tustin, an average of 45 to 60 Megan's Law registrants live in the city at any one time.
I am lucky that we don't have more than we do. Some cities, they have to have several detectives that monitor just because they have several hundred. So it is a tough challenge.
OC crime catchers followed Detective Pam Hardacre and her backup team when they checked on a convicted sex offender who let his birthday come and go without showing up at the Tustin Police Department to reconfirm his address as mandated by Megan's Law. We had to stay outside of the 58-year-old's mobile home, but we could still hear him admit he blew it.
Can I come in tomorrow morning? Can I make an appointment?
Well, no.
It's a simple slip.
Do you remember initialing it and that you'll come in within 5 days of your birth date?
Yeah, I just had a complete mind slip of it.
Try young Darla.
During a check of the sex offender's mobile home, investigators found some troubling photographs on his computer.
I say, that girl looks real young. Is that what you prefer, is young girls?
Teens and 20s. It makes me feel young. I feel so old. I'm only 58. I feel like I'm 85. I have the body of a 95-year-old, and it just makes me feel a little young.
The sex offender was led from his mobile home in handcuffs so he could be taken to the Orange County Jail to be booked for a registration violation. It's a felony because he's already had a conviction on his record for coercing a minor to make pornographic materials. The content of the sex registrant's computer could potentially add more charges and additional jail time.
His computer has several images, questionable images of probably young girls, pornographic. I asked him where he got them. He said he got them from public websites. He does like teen girls and into their 20s. So he gave us permission to take his computer, and we're going to go back and have it forensically looked at and see if there's any child pornography images on the computer.
Megan's Law gives local law enforcement some tools they can use to keep tabs on convicted sex offenders. All sex offenders have to register at their local police station within 5 days of their release from jail or prison. Violent sex offenders must check in every 90 days. Homeless offenders every 30 days. Every sex offender has to update their home address once a year within 5 days of their birthday.
I have zero tolerance for sex registrants. If they are out of compliance, they go to jail. Watch your head.
Risk assessment specialists caution that most child sex offenders never get caught, so many of their crimes go unreported.
If they get caught for one offense, you're looking at the probability that they have committed approximately 150 offenses that they have not gotten caught for. So the chances of them, for one offense, recommitting these offenses is astronomical.
Another disturbing statistic is the fact that 90% of child abuse victims know they're offenders. Laura Miller says it was her alcoholic, abusive father who repeatedly raped her and her twin sister.
It was horrible. It was devastating, horrible. Like we felt trapped. We felt there was nowhere we could go, nowhere we could turn to.
The Megan's Law website provides the tools you need to get the detailed information on most of the registered sex offenders in your neighborhood by using your home computer. A click on one of the blue boxes allows you to see the photograph, plus a street address or zip code, and a description of their convictions for crimes against children.
This is the one crime that I could never totally wrap my head around, you know, to hurt an innocent child, to affect their lives forever, it's a tragedy.
But yeah, there's always a nagging nightmare in my mind that, you know, he's out there, or he may come back, or I don't know. I
could be hurting other children.
Yeah. Yeah.
The Megan's Law website has its limitations. About a third of the county's sex offenders can opt out, so their names are only visible to members of law enforcement. Of the nearly 2,000 sex offenders who are publicly listed, about a fourth of them don't have to reveal their home address. Among the child predators who do have to list their street address, about a fourth of them have moved without re-registering, or they've become homeless.
Even if you put the monitor on their leg, the batteries wear out. You know, these people are charged with charging their bracelets, and they don't always do that, and then they're out of compliance. So then law enforcement has to go and try and locate them.
Jessica's Law has added restrictions on where convicted sex offenders can live. The voter-approved initiative bars registrants from living within 2,000 feet of parks and schools. Jessica's Law is now being challenged in court, with critics noting that the number of homeless offenders has surged since its passage in 1996. Chelsea's Law, passed in honor of murdered San Diego teen Chelsea King, is based on the sex offender's behavior, not residence. Violent offenders like John Gardner will now get life behind bars for forcible sex crimes against children. Unfortunately, endless laws will not stop all the sex crimes committed against children, so survivors encourage other victims to speak up.
If we all get educated and we all start having an open dialogue about it and overcome our own issues with the fear of speaking about it or the taboo of speaking about it, that's a huge step in preventing a lot of this from happening.
Sexual assaults, especially those targeting children, is an uncomfortable subject. But we need to get real and put an end to this inexcusable crime. Log on to OCCrimecatchers.com and link to the Megan's Law website, where you can find information and details on sexual predators living near you. Also, check out our web-exclusive videos with expert advice on how you can protect your children.